Hello there, dear reader. Fancy hearing a story that might make you think twice about gambling? Well, get comfy in your favorite chair, maybe grab a nice cup of tea, and let me tell you about Sarah. It's not a happy story at first, but I promise it has an important message for all of us. You see, we all dream of getting loads of money quickly, don't we? The lottery, a lucky bet, or even a scratch card, they all seem so tempting. But sometimes, these dreams can turn into proper nightmares. That's exactly what happened to our Sarah, a lovely young woman who wanted nothing more than to open her own bakery. Now, before we start, I should mention that this isn't just any old story. It's about real feelings that many people face: hope, fear, shame, and in the end, courage. So, shall we begin? Sarah stared at her bank account balance, the number 0 glaring back at her like an accusation. Her hands trembled as she closed the banking app, the reality of her situation crushing down on her with devastating force. Just 3 months ago, she had inherited $50,000 from her grandmother, money that was supposed to help her start her dream bakery. It had started innocently enough. A friend invited her to an online poker game, insisting it was just for fun. Sarah had always been good with numbers, and the initial wins gave her a rush she'd never experienced before. Small bets turned into larger ones, victories made sweeter by the rising stakes. She told herself she could stop anytime, that she was in control, but control was an illusion. When the losses started, she convinced herself she could win it back. One more game, one more bet, one more chance to recover what she'd lost. The spiral continued, each loss driving her to take bigger risks. She borrowed money from friends, maxed out her credit cards, and even pawned her grandmother's antique watch, the only physical memento she had left of her. Now, sitting in her small studio apartment, she could hear her grandmother's voice echoing in her head. "Money is like a bird, sweetheart. Hold it too tight, and you'll crush it. Hold it too loose, and it'll fly away. But nurture it with wisdom, and it'll build you a nest." The shame was overwhelming. How would she face her parents, her friends, the local business community that had been so excited about her planned bakery? The recipes she'd perfected over years of practice sat in a notebook on her kitchen counter, now just painful reminders of a dream slipping away. Her phone buzzed, another text from the loan shark she'd borrowed from in desperate times. The threats were getting more explicit. Sarah's hands shook as she deleted the message, knowing she couldn't hide from this forever. In the bathroom mirror, she barely recognized herself. Dark circles under her eyes testified to sleepless nights spent chasing losses, her once bright smile replaced by a haunted look. At 32, she felt like she'd aged a decade in 3 months. Rock bottom arrived on a Tuesday morning. After another sleepless night, Sarah walked to her favorite coffee shop, only to have her card declined on a £3.50 purchase. The barista, who knew her as a regular, quietly paid for her coffee. That simple act of kindness broke something inside her. She found herself walking to a Gamblers Anonymous meeting she'd passed by countless times but had been too proud to enter. Pushing open the door felt like the hardest thing she'd ever done, but also the most necessary. "Hi, I'm Sarah," she said, her voice cracking. "And I've lost everything. The faces that looked back at her held no judgment, only understanding. A woman about her age gave her a slight nod, and an elderly man offered a gentle smile. For the first time in months, Sarah felt something she'd thought she'd lost forever: hope. That evening, she called her parents. Through tears, she told them everything. Their disappointment was palpable, but so was their love. "Come home," her mother said simply. "We'll figure this out together." Recovery wouldn't be easy. The debts wouldn't disappear, and trust, both from others and in herself, would take time to rebuild. But as Sarah packed up her apartment, she found her grandmother's recipe book. Tucked inside was a note she'd never noticed before: "The secret ingredient is always getting back up after you fall." Sarah ran her fingers over the familiar handwriting, a small smile forming. Maybe her dream wasn't dead, just delayed. One day at a time, one honest moment at a time, she would find her way back. Not to where she had been, but to somewhere new, somewhere wiser. She had lost all her money in gambling, but in hitting bottom, she found something more valuable: the courage to admit she needed help, the humility to accept it, and the strength to start again. The end. Thanks for listening to the story.